Hi, my name is Minouche Kaftel. I'm originally from South Africa. I live in London. I'm a singer, actress, and voiceover artist. It's been great to be on the show with Keith Andrew. I think he's an inspiration to us all and to make you feel and to show you that you can make your dreams come true. I made my dreams come true by getting onto the charts with the single that I wrote and sang. So anything you want to do, you can achieve it.
Hi, I am Suzie Ziser. I am an actor, a producer, and filmmaker, also an improviser. I have been lucky enough to do a show with Keith Andrew on the KeithAndrewNetwork. He's wonderful, and I'm very excited to be part of the show.
The whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so prove them and still amount to something. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the one and only Keith Andrew Network, available on all social medias. It is 1094. You can see the fireworks going off behind me. The fireworks are a great way. Special effects can do a lot of things. Obviously, you can't see the fireworks now because we're doing the interview. But if you're watching the interview back, you got to see the special effects. So this is episode 1094, and that's also brought to you by WrestleMania 10. First question I want to ask both of you, both beautiful women, are you guys wrestling fans, number one? And what were you guys doing in 1994? And box number one, we're going to start off with you.
So I am a wrestling fan. I'm actually going to the wrestling convention here this Saturday with one of my best friends. I'm old age wrestling fan though. So I used to go to like all the Monday Night Raws and stuff. I was a big obviously I was a big Rikishi fan. I grew up with WF fan. I did get to see one of the Monday Night Raws with she's a UFC fighter. Well, not anymore. Now she's a mom. But
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. I went to see a Monday Night Raw with Ronda Rousey, and that like made my whole year. It was so fun. They made it so dramatic. WrestleManias are always amazing. The way they how entertaining they make them, and the way they challenge the different wrestlers and the new wrestlers that have come out. I think wrestling is a very fun and entertaining sport.
No, absolutely. What about you?
So I don't know a lot about wrestling, but anything that's fun and entertaining, I'm very big on entertainment. I grew up in the entertainment business. My father was in the film business. And in 1994, I just released my single. So here's my record.
Wow.
So I was on the charts in the 90s. That's me on the cover. And I wrote the words. So it was a great year for me. We recorded it in Hamburg, and then it got onto the dance charts in Sweden, and it was released all over Europe. So it's techno. It's called Frozen Love. So if anyone Googles Polaris featuring Minouche, Minouche, Frozen Love. And I wrote the words on the tube and got published by Warner Chappell. It took me 5 minutes. So 1994 is a great year for me.
That's wonderful. Yeah, those were definitely the WWF days. I was 10 years old.
For me,
cool.
I only went to one Monday Night Raw, and that was 1998. And on the main event, funny enough, I remember the main event. Maybe I'll ask you this question too. The main event was Owen Hart versus Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. And of course, Triple H interfered. And I think it's during Road Wrestlemania. So Stone Cold came down. We saw Undertaker and Kane.
319.
So what about you? What was your main event that you saw?
Um, so my goodness. Well, the one that I saw with Ronda Rousey, obviously she was the main event. I also went where the main event was Charlotte Flair. Um, and I'm trying to think. I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. But the Charlotte Flair one was amazing because it was right when all the like drama was going on with her dad. And so they really used that to like fire her up to kind of like take the championship belt. Um, so yeah, those are the ones I remember most. Were definitely the main events were definitely Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey.
No, I agree. And now I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, and each of you have 2 minutes. Suzie, you're going to be box one, and our guest will be box two. So I don't have to remember names. So it's called 1, 2. So it's more fast paced. But we're going to start off with box number two. The first question I want to ask both of you is, how has the coronavirus impacted your acting and singing careers? And do you see life in a different point of view? In box two, we're going to start off with you.
Yeah, so for me, during COVID, I was doing a lot of stuff on Zoom. I did a concert, which it actually opened me up. It opened up travel. So you could go anywhere in the world, and I really love America. So there I was zooming off to America like this. I'd never used Zoom before. And although obviously it was a very difficult time for a lot of people, creatively it was a good time to go inwards. I landed up writing songs and not using the public transport. I'm in London, originally from South Africa. And being on the tube, on the go all the time is not really good for creativity. So actually going inwards and being on my own, practicing guitar, got my guitar behind me somewhere here, and it was conducive to being creative. And there was something else I was going to say about, oh yeah, I did a podcast interview and I spoke for an hour and a quarter just about how people were feeling isolated and how people needed to reach out. And I think it made you feel more sensitive to people who were alone. And everyone was going through the same thing. So I just talked and talked and talked. And in that respect, I used it creatively. I think a lot of people did use it to grow and develop new areas of interest as well and new skills. But obviously, it was a very difficult time for a lot of people. And now, post-COVID, things are quite hard. I think the world has changed. Economically, it's changed, and it's thank goodness we've got through it. But things are harder. I lost both my parents, not to COVID, but after COVID, and some things have happened that I haven't expected. It makes you more empathic. Not that I wasn't empathic to begin with, but it definitely gave us a different perspective on things.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Suzie, what about you?
So COVID, although was and is a terrible thing, no doubt about it. It helped. It helped me in ways, and it helped me back in ways. It helped me in ways where I lived in California for 11 years, and I had a really good job, and so I didn't want to. I didn't want to quit my job, but I've been wanting to move back home to New York for a long time, and they kept turning me down because remote work just wasn't a thing. Working from home just wasn't a thing until the pandemic hit. And then we were, especially California, which is such a high alert state, we were on lockdown for like a year or something. It was like a very long time. And so they sent us all remote. And so I went home and I was able to prove to my company that I can work just as efficiently from home as I can from the office. And so when they called us back to the office, I went back for a few weeks and then I was able to move back to New York full time, which that's where I am now. And I'm very happy about it. It is sad because I've seen so many people struggle, suffer, lives have been lost. It is a terrible, sudden pandemic. I mean, I never in my life thought I would live through something like that. That was something that we'll probably never forget. And it's almost like 2 years, 2 forgotten years. Kind of just went by. Like, what even happened between 2020 and 2022? Like, does anybody even know? Nobody even remembers. It was like the decade, the 2 years of the plague. But I was doing a lot of theater in California, which everything got shut down. So I also wound up doing a lot of Zoom classes. But what was really great is I am actually obsessed with England. I went last year for my birthday. My brother took me. It is my favorite place in the world. And I actually still take a class from England, but the time difference is insane. But I was taking the class at like 3 o'clock in the morning, New York time, which was like 8 a.m. England time, or 9 a.m. England time. But it opened up an opportunity for you to take all these international classes without having to travel. So I got to take some classes with some really amazing teachers. I'm still in one of them. And so that was the amazing part of it. It was sad because I didn't do any sort of real performing or anything like that. I didn't really have any face-to-face contact. So it's definitely pros and cons for me.
No, absolutely. And now the next one I want to ask you is about icebreakers. So first question I want to ask you is, well, usually I ask that at the beginning, but when I have fun with it, I change it up. When you were in college, and this is for both of you, when you guys were in college, were you study nerds or party animals? In box number 2, I'm going to start off with you.
Okay, so I was both, if that's possible. I was a study nerd in that I got a first in my degree. I studied music, and I worked really hard. And I remember the professor, the head of the music department, said to me at the beginning, no boyfriends, no weekends. And I was like, what is he talking about? But in the holidays, I was a party animal. I love dancing. I'm a night owl, so that's why chatting to America is great for me. And I could dance the whole night. It was almost like a reward for being so focused on my studies and my degree. But my degree was creative, and we were in shows as well. I was learning harmony and doing an opera course and acting lessons, and history of music. And that was my reward for studying so hard, was, okay, we're going on holiday now for 3 months. We're going to the beach and we're just relaxing. I still sang on the beach. Actually, I got my first job because I sang for some friends on the beach. And then I walked straight into a wedding band. The guy's singer was leaving. And I used to sing for lifts in the car going to the beach. That was my payment. And there were bands there, and I would just get up and sing because I was always doing that. But the holiday, so I was both. I think it's very important to be focused on studies, and if you've got a craft, to work on it. So I work hard and I play hard as well, because you've got to relax and unwind as well.
What about you, Suzie?
So I wish I could say the same, but this is a girl that went to college 3 times before she graduated, because I liked to have fun. My brother was very much, it's funny how siblings are like such opposites. My brother was so focused on his studies, he graduated top of his class. And me, I really enjoyed, I mean, now I look back and I wish I would have done better. I wish I would have made, studying more of a priority. But I definitely liked to socialize, and I like to have fun. And so I definitely had more fun than I did study. So when I finally did finish, I definitely didn't finish top of my class, but I actually finished for travel and tourism and hospitality management, which is not at all what I do, which is another funny thing, how many people go to college for something that they don't actually use as a profession. But yeah, I was more of a party girl.
And now the next 2 questions I want to ask both of you, because they're easy questions. Did any of you do sports growing up, and what did you major in? Suzie, we're going to continue with you.
So I majored in a couple of things. I majored in psychology first. Then I actually majored in geology, which I really enjoyed, but I didn't know what I would do with it. So I finished in hospitality and travel and tourism, but I took a lot of sociology classes because that's what really interested me at the time. But sports, I played mainly, being I'm first generation American from the Ukraine. So Eastern Europeans are very big on like figure skating and tennis. And so I played a lot of tennis. I played a little bit of soccer. I played a little bit of softball, but I think I played tennis mainly. I also played a little bit of basketball.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. What about you, Box 2?
So I was a swimmer. We grew up in South Africa with a swimming pool. And I remember my parents giving me diving lessons because you couldn't swim in races unless you could dive. I had to be good at everything I do. And I majored in voice in my degree. So voice was my first instrument. And they call it an instrument because you're using the muscles and everything. And it was a 4-year degree. But then before my degree, I was on the beach studying theory. music theory while I was sunbathing. And I loved the degree. So even though it was hard work, because I was doing something that I loved, it didn't feel like such hard work. But we were very driven in our schedule. 8 o'clock in the morning, started off singing. I remember walking up 18 flights of stairs because the lifts were broken. And then got to the top of the stairs, and then we had to like start singing. And when I was growing up, Mandela was in power. Well, he just got released. So that was like a big thing with politics. Well, we're not talking about politics, but that was happening at university. And I got to meet Mandela because he moved in next door to my parents. So that's like a big story. That was amazing. And he asked me to sing for him. But yeah, in terms of majoring, I'd say voice, and there was also history of music. It was great to be doing something I loved because I went to quite a conventional school. And although academically it was good, and we did plays, we did shows. I was in shows. I was in Put on the Roof and Guys and Dolls and Boyfriend. I didn't study music at school. So yeah. And then sports-wise, I think also a little bit of netball. We had a thing where you could shoot. And shoot. Yeah, and what else? I really like dancing. So, but I like making up my own sort of. Yeah.
A lot of people make fun of me for this, and I'm a loser. Did you guys ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or not into that stuff? And that's for both of you.
Nope.
I didn't do it. It looks like fun, but I don't know. I like to try different things, but I don't know now. I don't know how agile I am. I don't know if I could get up there. Oh, you know what I did do? When I was in South Africa on holiday last year, I got up on the bar and danced like Coyote Ugly because, I don't know, I was filming people dancing on the bar and I thought, oh, that looks like fun. And I thought, why not? I'll do it. But I didn't move too much. I was scared of falling off. But it's like doing a performance and you can see the whole audience. It's a great feeling.
Actually, it's funny to mention that there's this circus blooper I saw recently. There are these two women who were on top of these, I think, exercise balls or balls made of stone, and they were going up a ramp. The first one loses her balance and jumps off, so the ball rolls back into the second one. The second one's like scurries right like a little hamster backwards, but she managed to stay on it. I thought that was really funny.
It's fun, yeah.
So the next question I would ask Suzie is, what attracted, well, this is for same question, but Suzie, you're an actor. So this one's an acting question, and box two, this is a singing question for you. What attracted you to begin your acting career, and what has been some of your greatest achievements? And box two, that's the same question, but you're replacing actor with singing. But Suzie, you're first.
I started late. When I was a child, I did a lot of shows like in school and stuff like that, and I loved it, but Russian is my first language, and I had a lot of trouble with learning English. So I didn't really fit into a lot of kind of like the schools and things like that, and I was really insecure about myself and my language barrier and all of that. So as I got older, I kind of got more and more interested in like theater and film. And when I first moved to San Diego in 2010, I had a friend that was taking an improv class. And every day she was talking to me about it, how much she loves it and how I should do it and how I would love it. And I was like, no way. I was like, no way. I'm not doing that. Like, I did it. I loved it so much that I wound up not only going through a whole improv college, I went to actual clown school, where they teach you how to kind of perform with your body versus like words, to teach like stage presence. And then I started auditioning, and I took some acting classes. I love it to this day. And some of my highest achievements, I was in a 6-month running episodic improvised soap opera on stage that performed every other Friday. That was one of my favorite things I've ever done. I'm in a few different movies that are on Tubi and that are coming to Hulu. The one that means the most to me is one that's based on a true story. And it's about a gentleman in 1979 that went to prison because of the color of his skin. They didn't have DNA testing at that time. So he was exonerated 13 years later. So 13 years he spent in prison for something he didn't commit. And in this movie, he gets interviewed and everything. So although I had a small role in that movie, it was such a big deal that's really special to me. And one of my other big things is I have produced 2 horror films alongside Guerrilla Revolution Productions, which is an amazing production team. I've done production, script continuity, PA work, all of that behind the scenes, B-rolls. I got to learn kind of not only what happens in a movie, but outside of a movie. So those are definitely my best achievements.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Box, too?
Well, first and foremost, it was always music for me, but I'm an actress as well. And one of the main movies that I'm really proud of is recently I was in a film called Alleluia with Judi Dench and Jennifer Saunders, and I'm playing the mayoress. And actually, this was something positive that happened during COVID. I got cast and I let my hair go like a different color, and it actually suited the role perfectly. I didn't go to the hairdresser for 2 years. They put me in this really interesting dress, and I had to pin this award on Jennifer Saunders. And she was so nice and so friendly. So I've done a lot of work on different films and also EastEnders. I've been dancing in the Vic. And last year I had a role in a Bollywood film where I'm playing a woman whose child gets stolen from a hotel. And it was really emotional. And I just had an operation. So I was really proud of myself that I was able to do that role straight after having an operation. But musically, my first performance was singing Over the Rainbow when I was 10 years old on stage. And my single that I got released that got onto the charts that I co-wrote, because I never knew I was going to be a songwriter. And to be published as a songwriter, I'm like, oh, I must be a songwriter. Then I've written a song. I've written a few songs. And I was introduced to this by this famous producer who produced Rodriguez in South Africa as a prolific songwriter. And I thought, oh, gosh, is that what I am? And singing-wise, I've sung in concerts, in huge concerts of 12,000 people at the White Nights Festival. Other bands included Aha, Run DMC, Falco, Robin S. And this was to raise money for the children of Chernobyl. It was a charity concert. Then I also went to Turkey to sing. And when I was on that stage and there's 12,000 people there, I actually thought, oh, I wouldn't mind if there were more. So I kind of knew, oh, I'm really comfortable singing in front of big audiences. I think I prefer big audiences to small audiences, although small audiences are great as well. Every person is important. And recently I performed at the Pheasantry in London, which is the most prestigious cabaret venue. And I did an Adele song, but I did it my way. I made it 7 minutes long. I jazzed it up. And that just came by chance. A friend just asked me if I would get involved in her show. So I like getting involved in other people's projects. I also do like horror. And I did the Science Fiction 48-hour film festival. And that was a lot of fun. And we did a time travel. We did a plot about your life running out. And it's all on a phone. But you have to watch the film. It's called Darkness Before Dawn.
Yeah, perfect. Now, I'm going to do something special for both of you. And the theme of the show is bringing people together. But the first thing I want to talk about is social media. How can our fans and listeners get in touch with you? And is there any social media you would recommend? Are you guys on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, or any other social websites you would recommend? Now I'm going to pass the show over to both of you. And Box too, I'm going to start off with you.
Well, I tend to use Facebook. So if you put in Minouche, Minouche, Kaftel, K-A-F for Freddie, T for Tommy, E-L. You can message me on Facebook or send me a friend request. I do publicize a lot of things I'm doing there. I'm also on YouTube, so you can watch any of my songs. If you put in Minouche Singer, Minouche Actress, When I Fall in Love is this cover that I recorded. The song that I wrote another song called Oh Child, which was the theme song for a film that you can find online. So you can find a lot of my stuff on YouTube. I would say Instagram is probably the best thing. That's what most people use, but I haven't started using it properly yet. So for me, it's Facebook.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, what about you, Suzie?
So I definitely use Facebook the most as well. And you can find me by my name, Suzie, S-U-Z-I-E, and my last name, Ziser, Z-I-S-E-R. I do have Instagram. My Instagram is So it's Ukrainka. So it's UK RAINKA _ Dama DAMA. Which I'm a big card player. So Dama just means the Queen of Spades in Russian. So I do have Instagram. I do use Facebook the most. I also do have an IMDb under my name. I do have LinkedIn under the same name, Suzie Ziser. I don't really use TikTok that much as far as posting, but I definitely use Facebook the most, and I would say Instagram the second most.
No, absolutely. It's the last 4 minutes, so I want to pass over to you guys. Susie, you have any questions? And the reason I call you Box 2 is because I'm really bad at names, and I don't want to embarrass myself, so no disrespect. But do you have any questions for Box 2 or Box 2? You want to ask Susie anything? I like bringing people together, so have at it.
I think it's unbelievable. So do you live in England currently?
Yes, I live in London, but I'm from South Africa originally. And because you've got a Russian connection, I know WVH, Ibiza. I sang with Natasha on the same bill as Natasha. And it was Run DMC as well, but Machine Time and Pamukalah. So there's Russian connections there as well, or Latvian connections. I want to ask you, I'd love to collaborate on a project, maybe a horror film.
I would absolutely love that. I would absolutely love that. I visited London last year. I went to the city of London. I went to Westminster. I went to, Oxford wasn't in London, but I went to Oxford. I saw all 13 bridges. I think that you live in the most magical place on earth. And I had pints with me mates.
Pints.
But I am actually taking classes out of Britain right now every Wednesday. And I would absolutely love to collaborate.
Fantastic.
We can definitely do something together. Definitely.
Great. And Keith, I wanted to say something to you, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
It was what you were saying about for me, it's in life you can do whatever you put your mind to, and the whole thing about disability and things like that I feel quite strongly about, because I believe that everyone should be encouraged to follow their dreams and nothing can hold you back. You know, I came from South Africa. Like, how did I end up on the charts in Sweden? I don't know.
And South Africa has one of the most, and I'm saying this as an American that has like an incredibly corrupt government. South Africa has one of the most corrupt governments in the world.
Yeah. We won't go there. We can talk about it, but it's like anything you want to achieve. If it's narrow, you can widen your horizons. You can't be influenced by people's labels of what you should be and what you can do and what you can't do. So I really admire you for doing your thing, for getting out there, not letting anyone stop you. And I think it's an example that it can be for everyone.
I agree with you completely. I think you're magical. I think what you've done is amazing. I can't wait to go on YouTube and hear your songs. But I'm already a big fan.
Thank you so much.
I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. We're going to do the sit down with Keith Andrew when we come back with this quick commercial break. But wrapping up, our goal is to reach 500 and more views. Leave your comments. We're definitely going to do a part 2. We're going to do individual interviews as well, because I like to talk to both of you as well. With that being said, until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Au revoir. See you soon.